everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's me, Legal Vices, and this is Legal Vices. And today is Maritime Monday. We're in the run up to Christmas here. We're already into Hanukkah, if that's your thing. So happy Hanukkah to those of you that do it. It's probably like Kwanzaa time too. I don't know. Christmas is coming up, as I said. New Year's after that, so we got a little holiday season here on hand. We're gonna be doing a bunch of Halloween. I was thinking Halloween, then holiday, and then it all got twisted up in my mouth. We're gonna be doing a little bit of holiday stuff here this week. Let's just start us out here by telling today, Maritime Monday, we're gonna be giving an update on Captain Kori, one of the coolest stories, and probably the reason the internet was invented. And then we're gonna get, of course, being Maritime Monday, get into another maritime tragedy. Hey guys, how are we all doing here? Are we all here? Are we all fine? Are we all doing well? I hope so. And if not, I sincerely hope things get better. Who do we got here? Mod wise, we've got Alan. And now Alan. Okay, I'll talk to you in just a second, Alan. We got Xcomer. My fuzzy nuts, Alan. Who else we got here? Flux is in the house. All right, that looks like our initial mod lineup. We'll see who pops in as the day goes on. And welcome to everybody in chat, and welcome to those of you that just have us on in the background and are listening but can't actively participate. Come back later and give us a like. And those of you that are here now, give us a like. We got 105 people here watching and only 60 likes. That's still 60%. That's better than nothing. Well, it's about 60% better than nothing, but we should be right up there around 100. So if you haven't hit that like button, please do, because you know me, that's what I grift for. I grift for the likes because YouTube likes the likes. So that's what we need to do. We need to get those like numbers up. YouTube says, hey, people like this video. It's got a good viewer to like ratio. So I think we'll recommend it. And that helps our channel grow. And if you haven't subscribed, if you want to help the channel grow, please go down there and hit that like button. If you are subscribed, do me a very important favor of checking to make sure you are still subscribed. Got a couple notifications that people had been unsubscribed again by YouTube for just no reason. They just kind of do it every now and then. They'll go through and start just purge some subscribers for God knows why. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you have, please double check to make sure it's still there. We got some membership levels if that's your thing. We've got a coffee cup, and I'm still trying to work out some hoodie stuff, some Lorax hoodie stuff that should be hopefully coming shortly after the new year. That's it. That's where we are today. Thank you so much for being here. What's coming up? Give you the weekend preview real quick here because we got a lot of ground to cover today. Got 2 stories. Tomorrow is a very moddy Christmas. All mods are invited to come on and participate in the show. They've been doing a fantastic job for the last 7 months now. Meme Copium Raid. Hey, Meme Copium Raiders, welcome. Before you do anything else, hit that like button. It's a very moddy Christmas. Moddy Christmas tomorrow again. I've sent out invitations to as many of the mods as I can find contact points for. If you have not got an invite and you're hearing this before tomorrow night, please hit me up. I sent a bunch out and literally not a single person is confirmed. So whatever. It may just be me talking to myself if the mods want nothing to do with meeting all of y'all tomorrow. Now, Alan, I do not have, you keep sending me things to Instagram. Instagram is literally the worst way possible of getting in touch with me. To send you an invite, I would have to take the Instagram message. Well, I'd have to take the link. I have to copy the link to the stream to myself. I'd have to email it to myself. Then I'd have to look at it on my phone, copy the link on my phone, then send me an email. Alan, send me an email with your email address or a direct tweet if you're doing the Twitter thing. I need to get you the link somehow. And if anybody else does not have a link, please let me know. Mods, you should have links by now. There's some mods that haven't been around for about 1 million years. You got to let me know. Lady Autumn Sky, do I have Instagram? It's right down there in the video description. It has always been down there in the video description. It's also in the description of my Twitter. It's everywhere. But anyway, yeah, so mods, please get in touch with me. And those of you that are busy tomorrow, I know we do this in the morning in U.S. time and in the afternoon in Europe. Friday, we'll be doing just a regular Christmas chill, and you are welcome to take a rain check for tomorrow and pop in on Friday to say howdy. It'll be doing a Friday evening U.S. time stream, starting probably right around 9 p.m. as always. So if Friday works out better for you, let me know. But again, now you mods I know probably have some sort of super secret mod Twitter group thing that I don't know about or some other deal. The links that I emailed you guys, put it out there tomorrow so that wherever your little secret mod hideout is, and let everybody know tomorrow what's going on. And tomorrow, if any of the mods show up, we'll let you meet them, see who they are, what they're doing. We can talk a little bit and just generally have a good mod time. If not, I'll just talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. That's how it goes. So, all right, everybody. Yeah. I know Flux has already checked in and said she got to work, but she'll be here Friday. Danny should be here. Those are literally like the only people I've heard from. So, mods, if you want to be here, tomorrow is the day. It's a very moddy Christmas. And then Wednesday, we're going to be doing kind of a new update thing. We're going to be doing the Bradley Yon thing. Guys, this trial, the Bradley Yon trial in Illinois, has the potential of being even more insane than Daryl Brooks. This guy is also representing himself as a sovereign citizen, but he's a little more aggressive. I mean, I'm not aggressive enough to drive his truck through a crowd of people at a parade, but he has done some really, really bad things, and he is using some not so court-like language with the judge. So we'll do a little deep dive into him and what he's all about tomorrow on Wednesday, as well as another case. I wrote it down and it has slipped my dang brain right now. This lady did like really horrible things to her child, and took out her child and then threw him in a garbage bin. And yeah, she got caught. She's been charged with 19 crimes, looking at some bad time. Good. So we're going to be talking about her Wednesday as well. And for the life of me, her name just slipped my head. Huh. Darn it, I can't think of what it is. If anybody can think of this name off the top of your head, let me know. Darn it. Oh, I know how I can find out. We can go right to here. Yes, Leilani Simon. Leilani Simon is her name. Thank you very much, Jasmina D. And Reindeer and everyone else that said it. She is a truly not good person. So we're gonna be deep diving her background as well as catching up on the Bradley Yon trials, YOHN. He's already had one hearing, and he's got another one coming up in about a month or so. So the first hearing only lasted 13 minutes. Did not go well for him. so there we are. That's what we're going to be doing Wednesday. Thursday, of course, is O.J. Simpson. And this should be the very last Mark Furman day. We should be hearing from 1.5 witnesses, finish up the witness we watched last week, and then we'll do one more witness. And then Mark Furman will take the stand for the last time in the trial. And then we will be done with him, and we'll be able to move to Barry Scheck and the 8.5-day cross-examination of criminologist Dennis Fung. Friday is the night before Christmas, and we're just going to do a chill stream. We'll see what happens. I literally don't have anything planned. The mods that can't pop in on Tuesday morning can come in on Friday night. Try to have some other guests. I don't know what we'll do. It's just going to be a sit and chill because, hey, Christmas. And Christmas morning, which will be Christmas Eve your time, I have to cook a bunch of stuff for a Christmas dinner at the cigar lounge. Got to make a honey glazed ham, some marshmallow yams, and some mashed potatoes. And I'm thinking about just streaming while I do that because why not? It's Christmas, and if anybody is just alone there on Christmas Eve or Christmas here in Asia or Europe, hey, I don't know. Let's put the camera up and you can all watch me make some food. I guess. We'll see how that goes. That's just something I was thinking about today. So, all right, there we are. That's us. Again, real quick, because I know I drag these things out way too long. Tomorrow, Moddy Christmas. Mods, send this out. Send out the link that some of you got and didn't answer. So send that out to all the other mods. Make sure everybody gets them, especially the ones we haven't seen in a while. We haven't seen some of our mods in quite some time. Then Wednesday, we're going to be doing the Leilani. Dang it. Why did I went to school with a girl named Leilani, and they're different last names, so I guess that's why it freaks me out. Let's call her Leilani Simon. Leilani Simon. We're gonna be doing Leilani Simon and Bradley Yohn on Wednesday. Thursday is OJ Simpson. Friday, Christmas chill, and Friday, Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, depending on where you are, just might be me putting the phone up next to the stove and just chatting while we cook. That's kind of the plan. Now, here we are, Maritime Monday. Ordinarily, as you know, we do maritime accidents, collisions, bad things like that. Today, we're going to be doing a little more festive stuff. To start out with, anyway. We're going to start on a good note, and it's appropriate to do this on a Maritime Monday. So when we're going to pull up the video here, and while we're pulling up the video, we've got 326 concurrent viewers. That is awesome. It's a good number for a Maritime Monday. And 140 likes, 145 likes. That ain't so good for a Maritime Monday. That's less than 50%. So please, everybody, get those like numbers up. Hit that like button. If you do nothing else today, hit that like button. What did Leilani do? Ask Eric Foams. She took out her baby in a pretty horrific way, put him in a garbage bag, threw him in a dumpster, and lied to the cops repeatedly about what happened. Truly, truly horrific woman. And her trial will be a pretty brutal thing. So there we go. That is us. Let's get into the first story here. The first story is a feel-good story from the internet. It's the internet feel-good story of the most recent, however long that the internet's been around. There's too much darkness, too much ugly stuff, too much hate, too much drama out there on the internet. But here we've got a story of the YouTube channel Crack in the Box, KrakenThebox. Crack in the Box. Good little kid, young kid. He's been fighting some serious medical problems pretty much his entire life. He's had 2 heart transplants at a very young age. And the little kid is now home. He's on palliative care. He's unfortunately prepared to meet his end, I guess. There's really no way of saying it. He's just in the palliative care, and he's been hooked up with Make-A-Wish Foundation. And his goal was to get 100,000 subscribers before the end and to get his plaque from YouTube. So the internet pushed through. They got him his 100,000 subscribers real quick. Then it was on to 200,000. And 200,000 was a fantastic goal as well for him. While this was going on, there was tons of things that are coming in. So that this kid who is in palliative care, whose days are literally numbered, is getting donations of gifts and things to give to other children as part of the Christmas season and whatnot. And then he's trying to get to 200,000 subscribers. And he hits about 160,000 and YouTube yeets his channel. It triggered, I don't, people have theories, people claim to have confirmations, but I don't know. The 2 prevailing explanations are: 1, He gained subscribers so quickly it triggered something within YouTube that automatically flagged it as being a problematic account. And the other theory says that the his parents were doing it, but he was the deal, and they fell afoul briefly of YouTube's child content restrictions. But whatever it was, they got it worked out. YouTube unintercoursed themselves pretty quickly, got his channel reinstated, and just earlier today, my time here in Asia, so I guess it would be last night, US time, he hit the 200,000 subscriber mark. Now, of course, he's just like, hey, he's like any smart little kid. Hey, I got 200,000. I want 1,000,000. That's his goal now, is 1,000,000 subscribers. Flux, starting us off with the super chat, says YouTube hates kids with cancer. Hey, you see, Susan, you gotta take care of that, because this is the general consensus on the internet. Yeah, and Susan has said the plaque is en route. Susan being the CEO of YouTube. So when everybody talks about Susan, I've had a few tweets saying, "Who the hell is Susan?" Susan is the CEO of YouTube. So his plaque is on the way. But more than that, the kid had an incredible day. He's had an incredible experience. And what does this have to do with Maritime Monday? Well, it's Captain Cody, the captain of a ship. He's a huge Pirates of the Caribbean fan, huge Johnny Depp fan, and that was kind of his goal, was to somehow be able to interact with Johnny Depp. And that, he worked hard. He got the 100,000, he got the 200,000 subscribers, and our little sea captain, this is our little guy here. He had a phone call with Johnny Depp. And this tells you the kind of guy that Johnny Depp is, and that rat bag Amber Heard is not. She's still out there bitching and moaning about how badly she got taken by the courts and how everything is unfair and how she's a survivor and all this crap. While he's out there. Have I been saying Captain Cody the whole damn time? Captain Korri. Have I literally been saying Captain Cody the entire time? If I do, I hate myself. If I have been, please tell me I said Captain Korri and just once screwed up. Please, someone give me some good news. No. Oh. Don't just say yes. Yes, what? Yes, I've been saying Commander Cody, or yes, I've been saying Commander Korri. Or God. This is what happens when you have a clone army staffed by a bajillion clones of Commander Cody, and that's out there in the works. I'm blaming Star Wars Commander Cody for this. Damn it. Hell. Yep. Great. Now you've said Cody a few times. I have no idea. I swear I hate myself. All right. It's Commander Korri. And the way that sounds, I think that might be the first time I've actually said Commander Korri. It's there in the, it's right. It's correct in the title, so I know. But hey, Commander Cody from Star Trek. Oh, God damn it. What's wrong with me? Here's what happens after a weekend of just rest and recovery and recuperation. Let's try this again. Captain Korri. No, not Commander Cody. Not Commander Korri. No, Lord have mercy. And it's from Commander Cody. It's from Star Wars, not Star Trek. All right. We got this out of our system. First of all, Shlomo, it's not this morning. It is 10:23 p.m. here. And no, I have not been drinking. This is what happens when you don't drink. Well, there you go. See, I was just going to do this cool story here and then sort of separate it and put it off in its own little uploaded video. But now that I've just screwed everything up, that's impossible to do. But anyway, Captain Korri here. Cute little kid. Guy's a trooper. He's got his phone call. And for those of you that have not subscribed to, now I'm trying so hard not to say Commander Cody or Captain Cody and all of this. I'm trying so hard. It's legal aphasia. That's what I'm gonna blame it on. Just aphasia. Me and Bruce Willis. So yeah. If you have not gone to Captain Cory's website, let's just start calling him Crack in the Box. Sorry, dude. Go to Crack in the Box's YouTube channel. It's KRAKEN the box BOX, and subscribe to this little guy's channel. Let's get him up there to, I guess he's shooting for 300,000 now, and eventually on to the million. So what happened when Crack in the Box Captain Kori reached his goal? Well, this awesome guy, Johnny Depp, who has gone through literal hell for the past couple of years, but has sort of come out of it in quite a good position on the other side.
Back on the record, then appearances are as they were before.
It seems I've said something to trigger my phone. All right. Oh, good. Wow, that was weird. There is ghosts in the machine today, friends. I have no idea what I said to set off my phone, but it, for some reason, triggered my phone, which triggered YouTube, which got us into the middle of a Daryl Brooks hearing. Wow. To be fair, meme raided a long time ago. I wish we could go back in time to the mean copium raid. Let's get on with this. Johnny Depp's a great guy. His ex-wife Amber Heard sucks. He's taking care of Captain Kori, Crack in the Box, and good things happened. I'm just going to shut this down right now while I still can.
Hang on. Mom, tablet.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, is that Kori?
Yeah.
Hi, Kori. I'm Jason. So nice to meet you.
Hi.
I've I gotta run off for a second, but I've got a friend who wants to say hello. But hang on.
Now this makes this little kid happy.
Kori.
Behind you.
Kori.
Hey!
Kori.
Hey!
I like Mom too. She gets a message in the middle. She's like, "Shit." See, we're Mom and I are on the same planet.
I'm friendly, Miller. Hello, Kori. How are you?
I'm really, really good.
Nice to see you. As I can see you. You know the funny thing?
No.
My name is, in fact, Kori.
Is it?
It's not Kori.
You're Jack.
Originally, it was something else, but now it's Jack.
So we can see that he got this great call. He went for quite a while. And Johnny Depp was just being amazingly freaking good. He was just talking to Mom, just like Mom was an old friend.
Do you want your nose touched?
And you're talking about, I'm just talking about his mother's hair, just shooting the breeze with her, making her feel great, literally making this kid's life.
Now, what is
And then he does this.
that wonderful chapeau?
What? What?
What you're sporting?
Tricorn.
You're wearing a tricorn.
Yeah.
As dumb as I look, I'm not as dumb as I look as much as you think I am dumb as I look. I'm dumb, but not as dumb as this. Therefore, I brought you something.
What?
And this was pretty darn cool what he did for the kid here.
Oh. Sorry, hit a bump. I thought it right. If we were going to meet with me and me meet with you, you and us meeting together, me, myself, and I, you, yourself, and you, the six of us all at once, I thought it only right that I dubbed thee. I shall knight you.
And as they would release the knighting video if he got 200,000 subscribers. And like I said, they got the 200,000 subscribers just less than a day ago. and they released the part 2 of that video, which is really nice for a couple of reasons. I mean, it's really, really, really sweet. This is so cool. How can there be no sound? Really? Just staring at me, staring at me, staring at you. Well, if there's no sound there, then let's do this. We're off to a great day today, aren't we? I can't even in good conscience ask anybody to like this video. All right, we'll bring it up on a different window. I was listening to it. It sounded really great to me.
I shall knight you.
Now, if you can't hear this, you're lying to me.
Thank
I've
you.
done this before.
Thank you.
Well, it is my pleasure. It is my honor. And I just wanted to make sure that my aim is all right. Ready? Corey, you
Yeah.
have to pass the test first. Corey,
Yes.
what is your name, sir?
Corey. Corey.
Excellent. Corey, I dub thee. Hang on, my aim might be a bit bad. Hang on. I dub thee. Corey. Sir, Captain Korri, my captain.
Yeah, and we're not going to watch the whole 7 minutes, but I mean, it's just a great thing for this kid. This kid is looking to get some more likes, some more subscribes, and they're going to release part 3 when they reach 300,000. But they got a box. The kid was excited. He got a PlayStation 5 for Christmas.
Wow.
And of all the things he wanted, that's what he wanted. He wanted a PlayStation 5 for Christmas. He got that, and then he kind of got all emotional. The poor little kid.
And in the end,
He was all upset and crying, and then, like not upset, angry, but emotional and crying because the PS5 came from an anonymous person, and through tracking things down with the post office and whatnot, they confirmed that it was actually Johnny Depp that sent the PlayStation 5 anonymously. And his team finally confirmed
he's kept
that.
in contact. He's been amazing. He's just.
And they got a little personal note there, so this is a great little thing. This kid's doing so cool, and I just thought that would be a nice little addition to Maritime Monday to bring you a little ship's Captain Kori, who's now been knighted Sir Captain Kori. Cracking the Box is his YouTube channel. Go there and subscribe to the kid. If you haven't done that, let's just get him up there. That'd be kind of fun. That's kind of, it's good to see the YouTube and Twitter and everybody sort of rallying around this one kid to give this kid something he wants. Make-A-Wish has been helping make these arrangements with Johnny Depp. His days are numbered, so we don't. And that was the problem with Susan in her Twitter fiasco blocking him. Was people like, dude, he's trained. He wants to get this plaque, and it literally needs to be an expedited service. You can't wait months for this thing to come. But if you want to watch the full videos, those videos, go to crackinthebox.com. Go to Cracking the Box on YouTube. See, this is why I don't talk about anything outside of my wheelhouse. It just all goes pear-shaped. But the kid's great. Subscribe to Cracking the Box on YouTube. Get the kids' views. Get the kids' subscriptions. And now, wow, let's Let's somehow cleanse our palate from that. Oh my gosh. This is what happens. This is what happens when I don't drink for 3 days. Um yeah, Saturday night I had Russians over and still kind of nursing a hangover from Saturday. Yeah, and we got where are we at here? Australian Cattle Raptor says I like what Runkle did for him. Runkle made him a great leather uh, YouTube button, and other people are coming together and making things for him as well. Other people in the LawTube and LawTube adjacent community, people with life skills. I was just trying to make him a nice little tribute video, and I completely screwed that up. So, God forbid you put me around power tools at this point in my life. All right. Well, do I speak Russian? No. Just a few words here and there, but all my Russian friends speak English. Thankfully, otherwise they probably wouldn't be my friends. Yeah. And most of us speak Korean, so a lot of times we sort of slip back and forth between English and Korean as the situation calls. And Flux, yeah, Flux sent. Oh, I missed Flux's super chat. I've missed all your super chats yelling at me. Are you happy? You want me to go back and read all the super chats of you yelling at me? D what? That is Captain Corey Jeff. Sir Captain Corey Jeff. Yes, I know. He was knighted. Legal aphasia. Base said we said that already. Flux actually super chatted me to say it's Captain Corey, not Cody. I know. I know. I know here. It just doesn't get up here sometimes. So, all right. There we go. Now that 32-minute fiasco is out of the way, let's get back to something that I can deal with more concisely and properly and expertly. Bad things happening on the ocean. That's what we do here on Maritime Monday. So without further ado, let's get into that was a good one. Go Shane. So Maritime Monday is about the USS Jeff sinking. It kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like the sinking of the USS Jeff today. I cannot even in good faith ask you to like this video at this point in time. But if you like watching me just struggle and suffer and die on occasion, hit that like button. Super chats are what they are. We read all the super chats, but we still pay attention to the chat as much as possible, the regular chat, but super chats get priority because you are showing your support for me by throwing your hard-earned money at me, and I deeply appreciate that. So today we're going to be talking about a ghost ship, not the spooky disappearing ghost ships like we talked a little bit about on our Halloween stream, but legit ghost ships floating around the ocean. And this is one of perhaps the most famous, I guess, of modern era ghost ships. And again, it like every show we do, it centers around a tragedy. There's a reason it's a ghost ship, not the unexplained ghost ships like the Marie Celeste. This has an explanation. And of course, it's terrible. And we're going to break this up into two videos like we did last time. There's a lot of overlapping ground between the two videos, but they both deal with additional items that I think are pretty fascinating. And if we have some time at the end of the day, we can watch some more people being idiots on the water videos. Well, let's bump this up and get on with the first SS Valencia video. And just in case you wonder, it's not just Captain Corey. I made a whole bunch of these thumbnails with the vessel improperly named on it because I was stupid. So let's go. If we need to bump the volume or whatever, let me know. Starts out quiet. Oh, before we get going, Stingy Ikari says, we just need more of whatever the hell Friday was. Oh, Friday was so much fun. If you haven't watched Friday, and Friday, there's absolutely no chance of me monetizing that. It totally got nuked. But yeah. Anyway, Friday was a hoot. Hopefully this Friday will be kind of like last Friday. We'll have fun.
A story of two sister ships that seem cursed with tragedy and tied to the same fate years apart. One so disastrous with such a tremendous loss of life that it refuses to be forgotten and is regularly seen endlessly sailing the seas near its final resting place.
So there we go. There's a starter for you. This are two ships, two sister ships, essentially twin ships that met the same weird fate.
This is the story of a ghost ship like no other.
Jump scare.
In an attempt to modernize its steamship service, the Red D Line
Oh, did we not finish the Baby Mama 3 court case? I thought we finished that video. Huh? I guess not. All right.
Company sanctioned the building of two brand new vessels. William Cramp and Sons in Philadelphia were engaged to take on the construction work, and the first of the two vessels, the SS Caracas, was launched early in 1881 and made a maiden voyage in July that same year.
That's a legit question. Hang on. Let me see.
The SS Valencia was completed the next.
Why are ships called SS? Because hope it's because of no, it's not because of Germany. It's short for steamship. The steamship Valencia. Yeah, the USS is the United States ship as a Navy ship. And there's the HRMS, which is HMRS, or Her Majesty's Royal Ship. I guess it'd be His Majesty's Royal Ship now, wouldn't it? There's a fishing vessels or FV, so for fishing boat, fishing vessel, FV, whatever the name of the fishing boat is. Tankers, they're like huge tankers are called VLCC, very large crude carrier, whatever the name is. RMS. Mm-hmm. Oh, is that what it is? The Royal Mail Ship? Well, look at me, Mr. Maritime guy, 53 years old. I always thought it was like Royal Majesty Ship. Huh. Royal Mail Ship. Cool. There you go. Uh-oh, we've got dueling things here. HMS ship. His Majesty ship. I was right. Don't screw with my brain. Huh. HMS. Yep, it's His Majesty's ship. It used to be Her Majesty's ship. Now it's yeah. See, I'm as Johnny Depp said, I'm dumb, but I'm not this dumb. Right. So let's get back into the story here. But that's a very good question. Yeah, SS just stands for steamship. I know I said HRMS. I know I said that.
Next year, launching on the 11th of March, 1882.
That's why I'm dumb,
making
just
a
not that
maiden
dumb.
voyage a few months later in May. Both ships were of a similar size, 34-foot beam, and a 1,589-ton displacement. The SS Caracas, however, was slightly larger at 257 feet to the SS Valencia's 252 feet.
That was like 5 feet
These
long.
brand new vessels were made to serve the passage between New York and Venezuela. Both ships were registered as USA vessels, and both met the same fate of running aground and being wrecked within 18 years of each other. Regardless of the historical mariner's belief that changing a name of a seagoing vessel was bad luck, the SS Caracas was renamed the Aquina Bay early in 1888. It seemed that this prophecy of ill fate had some foundation, as she ran aground only months later, being declared a total loss. However, her sister ship, the SS Valencia, continued.
So I mean that's it. The ship just goes, it runs aground, it just rips the bottom out of the ship, and that's the end of it. But the Valencia is still sailing.
Continued in service for some time afterward, and it is this vessel that is the subject of this short film.
And this is the Valencia right here.
The SS Valencia carried 6 lifeboats, 1 workboat, a dual-purpose workboat, and a short-barrel cannon called a Lyle gun. She, along with her sister ship, the SS Caracas, were scheduled for voyages twice a month, one per ship, with each passage taking around 28 days. In 1897, the Valencia was chartered to the Wardline as their ship, the Niagara, was under repair. On the 29th of May that same year, she came under attack from a Spanish cruiser, the Reina Mercedes. After 2 shots were fired at the Valencia, she promptly raised her US flag, halting any other further attack from the Spanish.
So this was more than 100 years ago, but pirates are still a thing. They've got the Spanish are attempting to take the ship for its own, and they're firing on it. But then you run that American flag up and announce yourself as an American ship, and suddenly you decide that starting a war is not the greatest way to take a ship.
Spaniards. Fortunately, there were no casualties from this encounter. As usual in these situations, there were a great deal of political finger-pointing, with the Spaniards justifying their actions and the US demanding that they were unjust. This created further tensions between the two countries. 2 years later, in 1898, the SS Valencia was purchased by the Pacific Steam Whaling Company. Not many months later, on the 19th of June, she was commissioned by the US Army as a troop ship during the Spanish-American War, an armed conflict that lasted from the 21st of April to the 13th of August, 1898. Fully loaded, she could carry 606 troops and 29 officers. After a treaty was signed ending the short-lived war, the Valencia once again was repurposed and refitted for civil service. But this return was not to be a happy one, as many believed that the aging ship was just too small and far too noisy for the service required. In 1901, she was caught amid a scam that could have cost many lives. A purser had been overpricing tickets and allowing more passengers on board than the ship's permit allowed.
Well, we've heard that story here, haven't we? We've heard that story before. Greed, people overselling, overloading the ship with people. We saw that there on the Mississippi River, which killed, what was it, 2,000 people or 1,200 people, however the hell many people died on the Mississippi River because it was overloaded. Other ships are overloaded. We've seen videos of overloaded ships capsizing. It's that greed. Once greed starts getting involved, greed, skirting regulations, bad things start to happen. It's not so much that way nowadays, but there is a case I'm working on where it appears that greed was one of the primary factors for the ship sinking. But normally it doesn't happen so much now. Now it's just too much reliance on technology a lot of times, not keeping a lookout. But back then, pretty much living in an unregulated world, largely full of pirates and business and things like you could skirt corners. You could take steps to sort of circumvent anything based on money, really. And that's what they chose to do. You overprice the tickets, then you oversell them. So not only you're making money from overpriced tickets, you're getting your ship overloaded, which affects the stability, which leads to high casualty rates.
Pocketing the extra money. When this fraud was found out and the purser arrested, he quickly tried to apportion the blame to many others, as he insisted that most of the crew knew about the swindle. As a result, her owners were eventually fined $9,000.
Ooh, $9,000.
About £220,000 in today's money.
That's
Following
still
this legal
nothing.
issue, and with the ship losing her owners' money, the SS Valencia was sold to the Pacific Coast Steamship Company. But once again, this union was not set to be a happy one. In 1902, the vessel, while returning from a voyage to Valdez, Alaska, collided with a steamer Georgia just off Seattle, Washington. The incident caused a large hole to be punctured in the SS Valencia. Fortunately, the damage was above the waterline. She was not equipped with a double hull, which was the norm with many other earlier steamers, and so, if she had been damaged below the waterline, she would have most definitely foundered, with a possible loss of life. 3 years later, on the 16th of October 1905,
See, this is what we call an unhappy ship. It's like a lemon car. Just bad things happen from square one. And we've been involved in wars, attempted piracy, opening up a hole in the bottom. And we're still not done with this ship. And in a relatively short period of time, too.
while entering the harbor of St. Michael, Alaska, she ran aground. Although
So now it's running aground in Alaska. There's a lot of superstition out on the sea. And as they mentioned at the beginning of this video, changing the name of a ship mid-service is generally considered to be bad luck. I mean, to say you're not going to cast fate into this or the stars or luck or whatever, but that's one of the superstitions that are out there. And those superstitions come about because of stories like this, where just it's one thing after another with the ship. So now we've got the war, we've got being pirated upon, we've got the hull being ripped under, we've got it running aground, and what else could happen? We haven't even got to the loss of life yet.
Though there were only 3 passengers aboard, there was 62 crew and a general cargo of 500 tons. She was later successfully refloated after jettisoning 75 ton of her cargo and safely resumed her voyage. In January 1906, with the ship SS City of Puebla undergoing repairs and maintenance, the SS Valencia was called upon to replace her en route between San Francisco and Seattle.
This is 1 year after
On the 20th of January, the SS Valencia, captained by Oscar M. Johnson, left San Francisco with 108 passengers and 56 crew on what would be her last voyage. Although the weather was calm when she left the port, it rapidly changed. Gale-force winds and strong currents soon engulfed the Valencia, forcing her to be blown off course. Shortly before midnight on the 22nd of January, as she battled the tempest, the SS Valencia struck a reef on the southwest coast of Vancouver Island, causing a huge hole to rip open her hull.
And if you're keeping score, that's the 3rd time that's happened.
A huge wave then crashed against her, lifting the stricken ship off the reef and to the mercy of the storm. With the situation quickly spiraling out of control, the captain ordered her to be ran aground to stop her sinking in a vain attempt to save the lives of those on board.
Now, so here we have the captain decides that he is going to run the ship aground. He's gonna run it into the dirt. And while they're doing that, the reason they're doing that is, like I said, it's crashed onto a reef, and these coral reefs and things they're razor sharp, and it just opened the bottom of the vessel up like a tin can, and that makes the water pour. But if it's stuck on the reef like the ship was last week, well, that should be a safe situation. But of course, everybody last week, they all died because of some other problems. But if you're on the reef, if you're stuck on the reef, that's okay. But then the waves lifted the ship up off the reef, and now it's put them back in the stormy seas. The water is pouring in through the hole in the bottom of the hull, and he says, okay, we're going to sink. So the captain of the vessel, he decides he is going to run the ship aground. He's going to get it stuck on land so that it doesn't sink. At least that's his plan.
She was driven onto the rocks with land less than 100 feet away. What followed could only be described as mayhem. Against the captain's orders, 6 lifeboats were lowered into the water. Badly managed and improperly manned, 3 lifeboats broke free, tipping all of those inside into the icy waters. The 3 that landed into the sea had a similar tragedy. 2 capsized, and 1 vanished beneath the waves.
So mind you, they were 100 yards, 100 meters from shore. 100 meters. That's all they had to do. The first 3 lifeboats don't even make it off the ship. They just don't even make it off. And then bad things continue to happen. Did you say 100 feet?
Badly managed and improperly manned, 3 lifeboats
Hang on, let's go back.
less than 100 feet away.
Oh God, it was 100 feet. That's like 30 yards. Well, 33 yards, like 30 meters, 33 yards. That's good grief. That's even shit. That's like 3 times worse. Yeah, so it's 30 yards. Damn. Yep, so that's even worse. I mean, you can throw a rock easily that far. That is not far. That is ridiculously close. You got people saying so close. I always heard that a couple times I watched this as 100 meters. I guess my brain didn't want to process how ridiculously close this is. Okay.
What followed could only be described as mayhem.
Wow.
Against the captain's orders, 6 lifeboats were lowered into the water. Badly managed and improperly manned, 3 lifeboats broke free, tipping all of those inside into the icy waters. The 3 that landed into the sea had a similar tragedy. 2 capsized, and 1 vanished beneath the waves, never to be seen again. With the ship stuck at the mercy of the angry sea, over the next 36 hours, she was ripped apart, with many.
I mean, people. This is rough. I mean, last week when we were doing this, we called the story the bizarre and tragic story of the Princess Sophia. We called it bizarre because they were stuck on rocks, and there was just a weird few incidents that happened where nobody got off the ship and they all died. And they were on this ship for about 40 hours waiting. They had plenty of chances to get off the ship, but the captain didn't feel like it was time. But by the time the captain decided, oh my gosh, we are in serious trouble and we do need to get off the ship, it was too late. So this is the same thing here. This is the same thing as the accident we talked about last week, but it's a little more tragic because they're even closer to the shore than I thought. They're only 30 meters, 300 feet from shore. And they're stuck on these rocks for 36 hours, literally while the ship is being torn apart on the rocks. They're just sitting there, and they've watched 5 lifeboats go away, and everybody's just dying, knowing, okay, we're doomed, just waiting for death, essentially.
Many being thrown overboard, dashed on the rocks, or washed out to sea. The horror and carnage of this tragedy is best described by one of the survivors, Chief Freight Engineer Frank Lean. Screams of women and children mingled in an awful chorus with the shrieking of the wind, the dash of rain, and the roar of the breakers. As the passengers rushed on the deck, they were carried away in bunches by huge waves that seemed as high as the ship's mastheads. The ship began to break up almost at once, and the women and children were lashed to the rigging above the reach of the sea. It was a pitiful sight to see frail women, wearing only night dresses, with bare feet, on freezing ratlines, trying to shield the children in their arms from the icy wind and rain.
So literally, they tied the women and children to the mast and the sail rigging, and the rope, so they wouldn't be washed overboard. I can't even imagine being in that situation.
Just 12 men made it to shore, but 3 of those were carried back out to sea by the crashing waves shortly before reaching the rocky shoreline. As so often happens in such devastating events, there are differing accounts of how many people actually perished on that dark, cold, windswept night in January. Some say 117 souls, others as high as 181. However, a US federal report on the incident puts the official toll at 136. What we do know is just 37 men survived. Every woman and child on the ship was lost.
So the very ones they tried to help by lashing them to the ship so they wouldn't get washed away, every one of them died.
With so many tales of ghost ships across the world, the SS Valencia has to be the quickest sighting of them all. The ship, City of Topeka, rallied to pick up as many survivors as possible. Doing all they could, they reluctantly sailed back to safety. But as they were transporting the survivors away from the wreck, many witnessed a terrifying visage. A ship slowly came out of the mist, sailing toward the rock. They all claimed it was crewed by phantoms in skeletal form, and they all recognized the vessel. It was the SS Valencia, which had only just sunk, heading once again to its doom. This sighting was seen by multiple people at the same time, and such sightings have to be taken seriously. But this being a ghost ship of a vessel that has just sank must be the quickest paranormal sighting of a tragedy in maritime history. Since then, the ghost ship SS Valencia has been seen many, many times by sailors, fishermen, and landlubbers alike. Some have even witnessed the ship continually sailing toward the rocks and its devastating destiny with disaster. Others have seen the lifeboats being rowed by a crew of skeletons, believed to be the victims of that fateful night, still trying to row to safety. 6 months after the sinking, a local fisherman and his wife reported seeing a lifeboat with 8 skeletons on board in a cave near Pansina Bay. However, because of the dangerous waters and tide, it was deemed too difficult to recover, and so the occupants and the boat was once again left to the mercy of the sea, as they were on that fateful night in January. In 1933, the last word of the ghost ship SS Valencia came 27 years after the disaster. A lifeboat, number 5, was found adrift in Berkeley Sound, empty but in good condition. Where had she been for all of those years? What had she witnessed? And what secrets had she kept? Something we will never know, but what we do know is that the ghost ship SS Valencia and its rowing boats of phantoms are still seen to this very day. Although what is left of the SS Valencia is almost unrecognizable today, we do know where it is. However, what we don't know is where the next sighting of this tragic ghost ship will be. Once again, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story of the SS Valencia. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Well, that's the end of the first video about this particular incident. What'd y'all think? Very Event Horizon, says Wolfman. Yeah, you know, it's people watch it sink. People know it sank, but you know, the lifeboats kept coming back. And who knows? I like what he says. Like these lifeboats that were just out there sailing for all these years. Where did they go? What did they see? These lifeboats. But you know, then you have people seeing the ghost ship itself sailing the waters for eternity. Are disappointed because there was no cannibalism. Well, there might be cannibalism in the near future on Maritime Monday because we've gone quite a while without cannibalism. It's at least one of the stories coming up soon is involving cannibalism. So bear with it. Cannibalism will make a return. I had a couple of super chats here that I didn't tab, and they've gone away, so I'll just have to read them. I apologize. We read Stingy Ikari's We Just Need More of Whatever the Hell Friday was. Tim Pool's Yamaka Beanie said Johnny Depp is a national treasure. Yes, he is. I believe so. D what? It's Sir Captain Korri. Okay, we got that. We are caught up with the super chats. All righty. Well, this has just been an off day, hasn't it? We're getting ourselves back in here. Now, the reason that I want to watch another video about this is it He gets more into what went wrong on the ship, because that's more what we're interested in here on Maritime Mondays, is what led to the sinking of the ship, what led to the deaths of nearly every single person on board. And the second story kind of goes in a little deeper and a little more detailed version. Oh, Mark Sermon, just coming here. Legal Vices, have you done the Battle of May Island yet? If not, check out Frederick Knutson's Down the Rabbit Hole on it. His stuff is gold. I have never heard of the Battle of May Island. What is the Battle of May Island? The Battle of May Island. The name given to a series of accidents that occurred during Operation EC1 in 1918. Okay. A series of accidents during a World War-ish. Cool. Ooh. Oh, the HMS Fearless. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. I have heard of this. Just don't know much of the details. The Fearless and the submarine colliding. Cool. Thanks. Try to keep that noticed here. Michael Rockefeller's great cannibalism story. Ships are sort of part of it. Oh, there's a few ship stories involving cannibalism that we haven't done yet. So maybe if we run out. League of Vices, since we all love videos about sinking ships, you should do one on YouTube. Do what? A video about sinking ships? That's what I'm doing. I don't know. I haven't watched any Down the Rabbit Hole videos from him in a while. I think I've watched one. Oh, and again, Brick and Mortar, for those of you that didn't hear last week, Brick and Mortar that's done some of the videos that we've highlighted here and reviewed. We're in email contact. We're probably going to have him on here sometime in January to talk about him, why he does these shipping and other massive structure accidents, and review a video together with him. I think that would be fun. So we're talking about that. Flux says YouTube is a sinking ship. Aha. Oh, I see. The joke. All right. Why don't you do one about YouTube? Okay. I said, why don't you do one on YouTube? I'm like, we're doing one on YouTube right now. Okay. Got it. That would have made the joke perfect if you said doing one about YouTube, not on YouTube. That's all. How you boomer a joke? Well, it's punctuation and proper grammar. We are doing a video on YouTube as we speak. We're doing a video about YouTube. Yes. Different stories. All righty. Well, let's watch this last video here. Oh, and by the way, we are 1 hour away from the Aaron Dean sentencing. Aaron Dean, the Florida cop who was convicted of manslaughter. Completely incorrect decision as far as I'm concerned. He's going to be sentenced today, apparently, over on Andrew Branca's channel. So let's see what his sentence gets. He could get anywhere. He could get a shit ton of time. So we'll just have to see what happened. Texas cop Aaron Dean being sentenced sometime today. Well, let's go back to the ghost ship again. Dun dun dun. Should we do we should do an ASMR. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? All right. The other Valencia video. What? What did I say? People are saying Texas, you fuckwit. What did I say? I said Texas, didn't I? If I didn't say Texas, I'm just going to end the stream right now and just go to bed because clearly I shouldn't be on YouTube today. Pinochet's helicopter tours. JP Morgan cheated death, supposed to be on the Titanic. There's a lot of people that cheated death from not being someplace they should have been. And JP Morgan's one of them. Did I say Florida? God damn it. Bye. See y'all. Yeah, see, Wolfman, you thought I said Texas. I thought I said Texas too. Florida, Texas, they're really different. No, not really. Not in my mind. What is wrong with me today? All right, we've got 500 concurrent viewers watching me just utterly fall apart today. But see, this is what's fun. This is why I don't do the scripted, produced, edited shows. These are just fun, just to watch shit happen live. With the background in radio and things, something goes wrong, you just got to roll with it. You can't make a big deal about it. You can't draw attention to it. But here, we don't have really anything. It's fun to draw attention to your idiocy sometimes. Today is just one of those days. Man. Yeah, seriously, execution. No whiskey and no cigar make Jeff something. All right, let's do a comparison here. All right. For this last video, we can do one of two things. We don't have time to set up a poll, so we'll go Scotch. One, if you would like me to do just to take a nice little drink of an Edredauer 10-year, absolute amazing Oloroso sherry finished Scotch from Edredauer, or the American bourbon. We got the bourbon side of things, the double rye from High West Distillery, my hometown distillery, which I will be uploading a video of the tour I took of the High West Distillery last summer when I was on vacation. But we've got the Edredauer Scotch or the High West bourbon. I can't even boomering the damn camera turns. So one for the Scotch, two for the bourbon, and then we'll see. We'll have a drink, and then we'll see how I perform during the next video. Oh boy, that looks pretty even. We got a lot of Scotches though. A lot of Scotches. All right, looks like Scotch wins. Edredauer is so good. Oh, Alan, did you email me yet? I hope so. Oh, this is so good. Well, tell you what. If we get through this, we just might do the bourbon later. Bourbon, the brownest of brown liquors. Anyway, we have our Edredauer Scotch here. Thank you so much for everyone that chose that. JSD, not Flux. Everyone else that said 69. Shame on you. 420 doesn't happen. Is both an option? See, I like the way you think, Stone Gamer. I like the cut of your jib. All right. There we have some of that ambrosia, the wine of the gods. All right. I'm on an even keel, so to speak, here for Maritime Monday. See, tie in. Let's watch this last video of the SS Valencia. Holy fuck, he got my name right. See? Whiskey does wonders. No more percent ton 3D gamer for me, XD. All right, let's go. Whenever I type in MILF Hunter, it brings me here. Oh God, this is so good.
The stretch of coastline from Tillamook Bay in Oregon to the northern tip of Vancouver Island is known as the Graveyard of the Pacific.
It's also known as the place where they make Tillamook cheese.
This deadly reputation started as soon as European explorers began widely navigating the area in the 18th century. Violent currents, treacherous coastlines, and notoriously unpredictable weather make this one of the deadliest stretches of coastline in the world. The tragedies of the past remain close to mariners in the area, but one of the
that Oregon and British Columbia coast is no nonsense. There's so many of these reefs, the stone reefs, these jagged rocks sticking everywhere, these barely submerged underwater obstacles like rocks and things. It is incredibly treacherous. Plus, you get these winds. The winter weather is horrific, and it's a spooky place to be on the ocean in this particular area.
These tragedies, the wreck of the SS Valencia stands out from countless other disasters. The horrific death of her passengers and crew lingers in the fog, haunting the area.
Wankers in the fog? What? I did not say wankers in the fog.
Lingers in the fog.
Yes, he did.
Haunting the horrific death of her passengers and crew lingers in the fog.
Lingers in the fog.
Haunting the
Okay.
area to this day.
Twice I thought he said wankers in the fog. I'm like, I'm going to start calling people wankers in the fog. People that don't mean anything to me. The people I don't need in my life anymore. They're just wankers in the fog.
In 1839, the Red D Line began operating a shipping service between New York and Venezuela. By 1879, the well-established company decided to modernize their fleet and ordered 2 steamships from William Cramp & Sons in Philadelphia. The first of these 2 liners, the Caracas, was completed in 1881, and her sister ship, the Valencia, was completed in 1882. The Valencia was a single-screw steamer with 3 decks and a gross tonnage of 1,500.
Single screw means one propeller. So before you start connecting wankers in the fog and single screws, the single screw just means it has one propeller at the back.
598. She was 252 feet long with a beam of
Wankers in the
34
fog.
feet. She was licensed to carry 286 passengers and was equipped with what was considered adequate safety equipment for the time, including 6 lifeboats,
Wank
1
riders
workboat,
in
and 4 life rafts.
the sky.
Her maiden
See?
voyage
Whiskey
took
puts me
place
back on my
in
even
May
keel.
1882. The 2 ships would operate together until the Caracas was sold in 1888 to the Oregon Pacific Railroad Company.
Go away.
She would be renamed the Aquina Bay and would ironically run aground in the bay she was renamed after later that year. Not a great sign for moving these ships to the Pacific Northwest.
See, that's one stupid thing they didn't tell you. They renamed the sister ship after a bay, and it ran aground in that bay it was named after. Tell you, it's a thing. It's a superstition that you don't name ships that are in service. You don't rename them, but they did. The one ship ran aground in the bay it was named after. That's kind of a weird coincidence, but that'll teach you.
The Valencia would continue with the Red D Line for another decade. In 1897, she was attacked by a Spanish cruiser off Guantanamo Bay for not flying the American flag, but she escaped without any major damage. In 1898, she was sold to the Pacific Steam Whaling Company. She was brought around Cape Horn to the west coast, where she would sail between San Francisco and the territory of Alaska. Later that year, she was briefly chartered by the United States Army during the Spanish-American War. After her return to civilian service, she ran into some legal trouble. Due to some light embezzlement.
I like his delivery. It's so just non-emotional. She ran into some legal trouble.
And was sold to the Pacific Coast Steamship Company, where she continued offering passenger voyages between California and Alaska. The Valencia was not a well-loved ship. She was small and slow with a service speed of only 11 knots. She was designed for warmer climates and not
11 knots is really slow. Like really slow. So it's going to take you a long time to go anywhere in this ship.
well suited to the harsh weather of the Pacific Northwest, making for cold, damp voyages. She was also a bit difficult to operate. Her 100-foot bow was too long and gave her bridge poor visibility, especially in foggy conditions. Waves crashing on her bow were unusually loud to the point where it made communication among crew members difficult. And though she was equipped with the required safety features, she lacked a double bottom and proper hull compartmentalization that could slow flooding in an emergency.
Love those double bottom girls. Double bottom girls make the rockin' world go round.
She was an unlucky ship and suffered a series of collisions and groundings after 1902. By the winter season of 1905, she spent most of her time docked in San Francisco and was only used as a backup vessel. The Valencia's final voyage came in 1906 when she was pulled to service the San Francisco to Seattle route to replace the SS City of Puebla while she was undergoing repairs after running aground on the Columbia Bar. Her captain was Oscar Marcus Johnson.
Now, this is something interesting here. This should tell you something about. I mean, there's just bad stuff. It's replacing a ship that ran aground. Its sister ship ran aground. This ship ran aground several times. I'm starting to question whether the people operating this ship are really actually able to properly man and properly navigate vessels. Literally every ship in their fleet is running aground in this area. Stay away from this area or do something. There's some problems with management going on here. But let's find out how the captain of this ship may have contributed to it.
Running aground on the Columbia Bar. Her captain was Oscar Marcus Johnson, a Norwegian man with only 4 years' experience sailing the area.
Yeah, so he's only been sailing in that area for like 4 years.
The ship departed San Francisco on January 20th with 9 officers, 56 crew members, and at least 108 passengers.
And again, it's a problem if we don't know how many passengers are on this ship. That's part of the problem with this greed that we were talking about, where you got the ticket master scalping tickets, or hey, wow, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Ticket master demanding exorbitant prices for tickets, just kind of like Ticketmaster does today. Just kidding. Ticketmaster, don't sue me. But because they're running this grift, they're not even really sure exactly how many people are on board this ship. And when you don't know that, you don't have accurate numbers on how many died. And when you don't know how many have died, you don't have an accurate way of contacting families, confirming losses of life, confirming missing people. You just create a lot of problems that you can't deal with.
At first, she experienced fair weather, but as she passed Cape Mendocino the next day, conditions deteriorated with strong winds and low visibility.
Surprise! Bad weather in the Pacific Northwest.
The crew relied on a method of navigation called dead reckoning.
And remember when we talked about dead reckoning last week and the week before? We started talking about dead reckoning basically kind of all the way back to the Shackleton expedition. It is legit a last-ditch effort when nothing else works. And it's literally, as they say, as the saying goes, dead reckoning is the easiest way to tell you where you are not. It's supposed to help you track yourself, but
to determine their position. This method used a device towed behind the ship to calculate the distance traveled through water. It requires precise calculations, and factors like wind and currents had to be accurately accounted for. Captain Johnson was said to have had a poor understanding of the complex currents in the area, most notably the Davidson Current, which runs north along the western coast of the United States. These currents were clearly indicated on pilot charts of the North Pacific Ocean, but inexplicably, no such charts were on board the Valencia. This meant...
Oh, great. So, yeah, the ship that's running up and down the coast that's carrying an unknown number of passengers and crew and is being forced to rely on dead reckoning, doesn't have current charts. Great. No, I didn't miss that comment. I just ignored it.
Captain Johnson's calculations of the ship's speed were off by 1 to 3 knots. Believing they were several miles south of their actual position at 9 p.m. on January 22nd, Captain Johnson ordered the ship turned eastward toward the coast to enter the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Heavy rain, wind, and fog led to extremely poor visibility. Captain Johnson ordered constant soundings, a customary practice at the time to pick up the strait. Obtaining a sounding of 60 fathoms at 10 p.m., he changed course, turning slightly west, the usual course taken from the Umatilla lightship to Cape Flattery, a location they were actually several miles north of.
Oops.
As they continued, the soundings grew increasingly shallow. 40 fathoms at 11:15, then 30 fathoms at 11:30. The rapid shallowing should have been a clear warning that something was wrong.
You think? You're running out of water? That should that should clue you into something is not exactly the way you thought it should be. Soundings. No. 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 Different. Soundings are just taking the depth. Just checking the depth of the ocean around your ship. Nothing else. Whatever else is going on up here, put it out of your mind. You degenerate. And if you don't know what the Urban Dictionary version of sounding is, do yourself a favor and don't look it up. You'll regret it.
By 11:35, Captain Johnson finally caught on that they were not where he thought they were. He changed course once again, but he still had no idea where they were. At 11:45, soundings gave an alarming 24 fathoms. Minutes later, Second Officer Pedersen, who was on the bridge with the captain, spotted a dark object looming dead ahead. No signal came from the lookout, who must have been asleep at the time. Pedersen alerted Captain Johnson, who ordered the wheel hard over, but it
You'd be surprised how often people fall asleep on a ship that should be on watch, should be navigating, should be on duty. But yeah, what would have happened if this guy would have been awake, been paying attention, been doing his job? See, now I can see you're all totally ignoring me at this point. You've all just abandoned my particular ship and you're all swarming around Urban Dictionary when I specifically told you not to go look that up on Urban Dictionary. Well, I hope you're all happy with what you've uncovered.
was too late. The Valencia violently smashed into an underwater reef just before midnight, 11 miles from Cape Beale on the southwest coast of Vancouver Island. Captain Johnson exclaimed, "My God, where are we?" as his
First
ship
name
ground
Ligma.
helplessly into the rocky shore.
Yeah, see, again, that's not something you want to hear your captain say. You don't want to hear this crunch and the ship goes, and the captain says, "Where the hell are we?" Not something you want to hear. Good morning, Indigo.
Shoreline.
All right, now let's talk about what went wrong with Captain Ligma Johnson. Sounding expert.
The Valencia immediately began taking on water, reportedly 1 foot every minute.
That's a
Knowing
lot
the
of
ship
water.
would soon founder, Captain Johnson ordered her run aground to keep her from fully sinking. She ended up with her stern dug into the rocks and her bow pointing out to sea. Though they were less than 14 to 18 meters from the shore, they could not have beached in a worse area. Lighthouses were established in the area at Cape Beale to the north.
Now, see, I'm not buying his measurements of 14 to 18 meters. You can jump from 14 to 18 meters. I'm sticking with the 30 meters here.
In 1874 and Carmana Point to the south in 1891. But the stretch between the two lights was still woefully underprotected, and multiple ships wrecked in the desolate area every year. The coastline had no beach, just 30-meter cliffs that jutted directly out of the crashing waves.
No, that was just me being a
The
jerk.
Valencia's generator quickly failed, plunging the ship into darkness. She was not equipped with a radio to call for help, and it would be over 15 hours before anyone from the outside world would learn of the disaster.
Can you
In the
imagine?
moments immediately after,
Can you imagine being stuck in those conditions, taking on water, jammed up against a bunch of rocks in the middle of this storm for 15 hours when all it takes is someone just to look out? Someone can see you very, very easily from the shore at that distance, but nobody's looking your direction. You are on your own because you don't have a radio. When you can literally throw a rock from your ship to the shore.
After the collision, panic and confusion overtook the passengers and crew. Captain Johnson knew that the lifeboats had little chance of safely making it to shore, and it would be safer to remain on the stricken ship until help could arrive or a line could be established to the shore. But inexplicably, he still ordered the lifeboats swung out and lowered to the saloon deck rail, though he explicitly ordered that they not be launched. Panicked passengers rushed to fill the tiny boats. In the chaos, shouts were heard calling on the lifeboats to be launched, and the davit crews, unsure where the orders came from, began launching the boats. All 6 lifeboats were launched within half an hour. 3 of these boats either collapsed or were upended during lowering, throwing around 46 people into the water. All but one crewman quickly drowned in the turbulent waters. The other 3 lifeboats successfully launched with another 50 people. One quickly disappeared, her fate unknown, and the other 2 capsized.
Well, I think if you use the term disappeared 30 meters to shore and nobody knows what happened to them, I'm pretty sure we know what happened to them. Just saying. I mean, but this is just a weird circumstance.
In the violent sea. Only 12 men from these boats made it to shore, but one man was swept back out to sea after clinging to a rock, and 2 others were forced up the face of a cliff by the rising tide, where they eventually fell to their deaths. The remaining 9 men spent the rest of the night huddled among the rocks. This group would become known as the Bunker Party, led by Frank F. Bunker, who was en route to Seattle to become assistant superintendent of the city's schools. His wife and 2 children were among those lost in the lifeboats. Meanwhile, back on the ship, the initial panic had subsided among the nearly 100 left on board. Captain Johnson fired off rockets in an attempt to signal help, apparently severely injuring his hand in the process. The Valencia was equipped with a Lyle gun that could shoot a line that could be used to establish a breacher's buoy. In the morning light at approximately 8 a.m., Captain Johnson decided that they would try to launch the last boat so someone could at least get to shore and secure the line. At first, Boatswain Timothy J. McCarthy was the only one willing to brave what had already killed nearly a third of the people on the ship. But finally, 5 more crewmen volunteered. The boat was successfully launched, and the men barely survived as they desperately paddled for a safe place to land. They finally made it to shore at around 12:30 p.m., a full 8 miles northwest of the wreck. McCarthy and the other exhausted.
See, that should tell you what the weather conditions are like. They had to go 30 meters to shore. 30 meters. And it took them 8 miles of drifting to do that 30 meters. That's some serious, serious weather.
Men attempted to find a path back to the Valencia, but they couldn't find a way through the dense forest. Finally, they found a small, poorly maintained trail on the beach with a sign that read 3 miles to Cape Beale. They hiked to the lighthouse, and the station keeper contacted nearby Banfield, but news of the wreck had already been received. Unbeknownst to McCarthy and those still trapped on the Valencia, the Bunker Party climbed the bluffs at daybreak and stumbled upon the Carmana-Cape Beale telegraph line. They followed the telegraph line south through a thick forest until they finally came upon a lineman's shack, where they were able to tap into the line and contact the Carmana Point light station. 15 hours after the wreck, word of what happened finally reached Victoria, British Columbia. 2 Pacific Coast Steamship Company ships, the SS Queen and the SS City of Topeka, were dispatched from Seattle, with the Queen departing first. A Canadian salvage steamer, Salver, and another tugboat, the Tsar, joined the search party. Together with the SS Queen, the 3 ships finally located the Valencia on Wednesday morning. Remember, the Valencia wrecked on Monday evening. But the Queen was too large to get any closer than a mile away from the wreck. By this point, the Valencia was breaking up in the pounding waves, with nearly 100 survivors still clinging to her decks and fixtures. The people on board saw the 3 ships approaching and fired the Lyle gun 3 times to signal the rescuers, as hope swelled that they would soon be saved. The shallow-bottom Tsar was able to get closer to the Valencia, but turned back due to the dangerous conditions.
Oh, God, can you just imagine being on that ship? You've been there for 36 hours. Your rescue is right there, less than a mile away. They can't get to you. And then your ship just starts disintegrating under you. That would That would be pretty horrific.
Inexplicably, they reported that they saw no survivors on the wreck, though people were clearly visible even to the SS Queen a mile away. The Tsar and Salver, the two vessels capable of getting close to the wreck, made the unthinkable decision to head back to Victoria. Meanwhile, the Queen soon lost sight of the wreck as the weather again began to deteriorate. On board the Valencia, the two remaining life rafts were hastily prepared. The first departed with 10 men on board. The captain and remaining crew pleaded with the surviving women to climb on board the second tiny life raft. But the horrors of the previous evening, and maybe the hope that the distant steamship would soon save them, kept the women from taking a chance on the craft. Eventually, it left, loaded with 18 men. The women on board reportedly sang "Nearer My God to Thee" as the rafts desperately paddled for the now out-of-sight steamship. At 11 a.m., the city of Topeka arrived on the scene. Inexplicably, the general manager of the Pacific Coast Steamship Company, James E. Farrow, who was on board the Topeka, ordered the captain of the Queen to return to Victoria and board passengers for her regularly scheduled voyage. As the day went on, the weather worsened, and the Topeka slowly and cautiously patrolled the coast, looking for the wreck. At 1 p.m., she came upon the second life raft with 18 men on board, including Second Officer Pedersen. The men were nearly dead when they were finally rescued. The first life raft was less lucky, drifting 18 miles northwest, past Cape Beale and into the Barkley Sound. They landed on a small island late Wednesday night. 2 men fell overboard and drowned, and 4 died of exposure on the island. The 4 who survived wandered the island all day Thursday until they finally were discovered and rescued. The last hope of rescue for those still on board the Valencia was just as bafflingly pathetic as the rescue ships. Immediately after hearing what was happening on Tuesday afternoon, a group of 3 left Carmana Light to aid in the rescue. They took with them only about 100 feet of rope. On Tuesday night, they set up camp by a river and didn't resume again until 9:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. They then stopped for tea at around noon at a new channel encampment only a few miles away from the wreck, while the people still on board watched the 3 rescue ships sail away. That afternoon, they finally reached a bluff and spotted the wreck. They reported that the people saw them and cheered, but unbelievably, no further communication was made, and even more unbelievably, no attempt was made to establish a lifeline between the wreck and the shore. The 3 men just stood and watched for an hour, bearing witness to the moment when the vessel finally wrecked apart, spilling people into the violent waters. Most still wore their life jackets, and those that weren't smashed on the rocks were carried out to sea by the currents. The rescue party, having rescued nobody, left the bluff while the remaining victims of the Valencia were still clinging to life in the icy sea.
That says a lot. That one sentence says a lot. The rescue party that rescued no one. And how bad would that suck to be there standing on the shore watching this ship disintegrate 30 yards away and everyone dying in front of you?
None would survive. The ship remained intact for nearly 40 hours after she wrecked, with survivors clinging to her till the end. Bad luck, paired with ineptitude and indifference, doomed the people on board to an agonizing, drawn-out end. Estimates vary, but the official federal report put the death toll at 136 people. Only 37 men lived through the ordeal. Every woman and child on board the Valencia wouldn't survive. Even before the wreck of the Valencia broke up, the press began covering the tragic story. Coverage quickly shifted to outrage as details of the botched rescue efforts came to light. Multiple inquiries were initiated by the United States and Canada, including one personally ordered by President Theodore Roosevelt. They determined that the incident was the result of navigational mistakes and poor weather. The Valencia was equipped with adequate safety equipment, but the crew never carried out a lifeboat drill, no doubt contributing to the disastrous mistakes made launching the lifeboats. And though the inquiries were critical of the failed rescue efforts, they ultimately determined that the rescuers did what they could given the circumstances. The lack of life-saving infrastructure on Vancouver Island came under great scrutiny. Following the report's recommendations, a new lighthouse, Pachina Point, was commissioned and built between Cape Beale and Carmana Point in 1908. They also recommended the creation of a life-saving trail with regularly spaced shelters for shipwrecked sailors. The trail would be completed in 1911 and later became known as the West Coast Trail. Surf boats and additional vessels capable of rescue were also permanently stationed near the area. All of these provisions undoubtedly made the area safer, but the tragic missteps of the SS Valencia would go on to haunt the area for generations.
And for those of you that are pointing this out in chat, apparently the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case has settled for $1 million. She's agreed to pay Johnny Depp $1 million for both of them to drop their respective appeals. And that seems to be it. I'm sure there'll be more on that later. And here we'll wrap it up with a little bit of the ghost ship idea. It was seen after it sank.
Ghostly sightings of the Valencia started even before the deadly disaster came to an end. While the city of Topeka was on her way back to Seattle with the tiny handful of survivors, the ship briefly paused to relay the details of the tragedy to another passing vessel. A man stood on the ship's stern surveying the dark, misty waters. The horrors that took place only a few miles away were no doubt drifting through his mind. Suddenly, something in the distance caught his eye. There, in the low-hanging smoke that spewed from the Topeka's funnel, he could just barely make out the dark outline of another liner approaching in the distance. He turned to see if anyone on deck could help identify the vessel, but he found no one close. When he looked back, the strange vessel was gone. Soon the city of Topeka was again underway. The man wondered if what he saw was really another ship or just the fog playing tricks on his mind. Then, a commotion on the forward deck grabbed his attention. He ran forward to find the other men on deck pointing to something just off the port bow. His heart stopped when he saw what they were looking at. Running nearly parallel to the city of Topeka was another vessel that seemed to have come out of nowhere. The men on board the Topeka let out a horrified gasp when they drew close enough to make out the lettering on her hull. It was the Valencia, piloted by some unseen force. The Topeka attempted to signal the phantom ship, but just as soon as she appeared, she vanished in the rocks on the shore. 6 months after the disaster, a local Nuchana fisherman and his wife were exploring the shore of Pachina Bay when they came upon a hidden sea cave obstructed by a large boulder. When they peered inside, they saw a lifeboat with 8 skeletons, trapped floating in the watery darkness below. It's believed that a high tide lifted the small boat into the mouth of the cave, and the heavy seas trapped them inside. Whether what they saw that day was one of Valencia's 6 lifeboats is unknown, but it's hard to believe any remained floating long enough in the stormy sea to make it into the mouth of that cave. The Valencia was also just one of several wrecks in the area around this time. Only a few months earlier, another vessel wrecked in almost the same spot, and a lifeboat involved in the rescue effort also went missing. So it's possible this doomed lifeboat could have actually come from another wreck. The dangerous seas made the cave incredibly difficult to access and made any recovery attempt impossible. But that wasn't the last or even the most amazing sighting involving one of Valencia's lifeboats. In 1933, a derelict lifeboat was found floating in Barkley Sound. When the lifeboat was pulled ashore and examined, the nameplate was still clearly legible. It was the Valencia's No. 5 lifeboat, somehow still in decent condition, 27 years after the disaster. The nameplate can still be found displayed at the Maritime Museum of British Columbia. How the tiny craft survived nearly 3 decades is a complete mystery. These are just some of the strange stories of the Valencia. Apparently, at least for a time, Whenever mariners in the area thought they saw a phantom ship in the dark mist, they would always say it was the Valencia, reenacting the deadly night she ran aground. There are even reports of ghostly lifeboats appearing in the distance, only to fade into the mist. Pieces of her wreck are still visible today, but the area remains difficult to access due to the rough terrain. The story of the Valencia lingers on. In an area famous for shipwrecks and watery death, her story stands out from the countless others. Her wreck likely kept many in the area awake at night, wondering if they could have done more. Ghosts are the lives we couldn't save. In 1906, death was closer, especially for those who ventured to the edges of the map. Accidents and disasters were more common.
I wouldn't exactly call
People died
Oregon the
young.
edge of the map, but
With so much
yeah.
uncertainty, it's hard not to look out into the fog and wonder, why am I here? When will my time come? Could I have done more? A shape forms in the darkness. Questions pile up unanswered, and the ghosts become real.
Well, there's our story for today. We had the completely botched story of Captain Kori at the beginning of the show. See, I got everything straight. Got that one little swaller of delicious Edredauer scotch in me, and that balanced me back out. we totally botched our feel-good story of Captain Kori at the beginning of the show, and then we've just wrapped up the 2-video presentation of the Valencia. Excuse me. It's these accidents are the weird ones, the ones that happen so close to land that everybody dies. My fuzzy nuts Alan asks, wait, where do we go? How many died? We don't know. Because they didn't have exact numbers of how many people were on, but the official Coast Guard investigation report said 154. We're on board, so 136. If okay, the survivor somewhere around there between 136 154. We just don't know. All the women and children died. Not a single one. Yeah, not a single woman or child survived that, and they're 100 feet, 30 meters from shore. And then to have the lifeboat still just floating around the ocean for 27 years. Where are the doggos? They're outside on the sofa asleep. Well, the zip lines could have saved their lives. Well, that was one of the things they were talking. The people that got on the life raft, and in the 30 meters, they drifted 8 miles by the time they got to shore. They hiked back, including camping overnight on a ridge. They hiked back to the ship, and they were waiting there. They could see the ship, but they weren't getting any lines thrown to them, and they basically just sat there and watched the ship break up. It's a weird story, but stranger things have happened. Well, next week we'll see where we go with our next story. I've got to decide what we're going to do for next week. It's kind of a year-end thing, so I don't know. Might do something timely, something Christmassy, holiday-y, or something for Maritime Monday. Until then, that's the end of our Maritime Monday stream. Thankfully, this ended because I just totally boomered the hell out of it. But we had fun as always. For what it's worth, hit that like button. Thank you for the few super chats that came in today. Always appreciated. Thank you, mods, for being here. And again, tomorrow is our Moddy Christmas, where you get to meet our mods. I saw your email, Alan. That's good. For wherever you mods hang out when I'm not around, get the word out and send them a copy. Make sure everybody has a copy of the link. I've got a hold of everyone that I can reasonably get in touch with. If your TV is covered with a curtain, what are you talking about, Scott Fox? No, my TV is not covered with a curtain. Why should it be? I don't know what that's dealing with. But nope, just for what it's worth, my TV is not covered by a curtain. There are no curtains anywhere near either of my televisions. All right. So mods, make sure spread the word, get the word out to everybody, send the copy of the link so that everybody can join as they will tomorrow at any point. Wednesday is going to be, I'm assuming we'll probably be talking a little bit about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard on Wednesday. But we'll also be talking about Leilani Simon, I believe her name is, and Yoon, Bradley Yoon. We'll be deep diving, getting into the background of those two cases. The trials are upcoming, and the Bradley Yoon case has the potential of being even crazier than the than the Brooks trial. Than the Darrell, not Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks is a friend of mine. Daryl Brooks, the Daryl Brooks hearing. It could be worse than that. This guy's a soft set, and he's been charged with separate cases, separate felonies and separate cases, and he's representing himself in all of his felony cases. So it could be wild. That's Wednesday. Thursday, O.J. Simpson. We've got 2 impeachment witnesses, and then Mark Furman takes the stand for the very last time. Then we'll be done with him, and then the week from this Thursday, we can go on to Dennis Fung being cross-examined by Barry Shack. Friday will be our Christmas stream. It'll be a chill Christmas stream. We can do whatever we need to do, have fun. The mods that can't be here tomorrow, maybe they can stop in on Friday at a more decent time. We'll see what happens. We'll just have a chill stream. And the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day thing, the watching me cook thing might happen. I don't know. I'll have to see how I get it hooked up. I just don't know. I'll do what I can. I see 2 chairs facing a curtain behind you. Yeah, those 2 chairs are looking out over the ocean. That's the view from that's my chill stream. That's where I sit and drink my whiskey, smoke my cigars, and relax, looking at the ocean out that window. That's my relaxing window. And if you've seen the beginning of the original Black Panther movie, Black Panther 1, when they go to Busan, Korea, where I'm at, and they have a chase on the bridge. There's like a bridge chase. That bridge is what I look at out my window. That's what I do. So that's what that's looking at. I'll have to post a picture of the view out from my windows. It's quite a nice little view. But yeah, my TV just has a sofa in the other room. And this TV here that I'm on right now. So, all right, guys, there we go. Well, they're not really my relaxer chairs anymore. They're more the dogs now. The dogs have sort of taken them over. They let me sit on them occasionally. But yep. So tomorrow, tune in. We've got a Mahdi Christmas. Wednesday, we've got Bradley Yoon and Leilani Simon, 2 criminals, hopefully going down. Thursday, we've got O.J. Simpson. Friday, our Christmas chill stream, and then maybe watch me cook and just chat while I make some honey glazed ham, some mashed potatoes, and some marshmallowed yams. That's what we got coming up until Christmas. So I hope we'll all see you tomorrow. We're going to dump now right over into Andrew Branca's stream. If you want to watch the Aaron Dean sentencing, he should be going live in about 10 or 15 minutes from now. And so if you want to watch that, stick around until we see each other again, hopefully tomorrow for a Mahdi Christmas. Everybody come on by and meet the mods tomorrow. That's what we're going to be doing. Until then, take care of yourself. Let me make sure I got all the super chats. We got all the super chats. Enjoy your legal vices. I'm out.